freedom is good. But there is such a thing as too much freedom. Of course, allowing a person to do anything they want in America is bound to bring issues. We see that many companies today, if left to their own devices with no regulation, would most likely see us go through a financial crisis at least every decade. But in the realm of video games, literally, worlds ready to be made and explored at our fingertips, can unlimited freedom work? No! Those games suck. Gamers today demand more freedom. They demand that games become something more, something they cannot be right now. So it's time to retread a nice word, a word that could very well help devs make a game that is satisfying, a game that is expansive, a game that is interesting, but limited. And I know for a fact that once gamers feel those sweet limits, lovingly pushing you towards something fun and interesting, and not something bland and boring and open, that you too will find that the Church of Limits of Latter-day Saints, a branch of the Mormon Church, ding, will be here for you with games that actually satisfy, with games that leave you wanting more, games that are limited. James, where are the fireworks? Oh, sorry. Oh, you little Anyway, let's get started. Oh, no, never mind, I found the problem. No, James, we don't need the... I recently played some games. I know, based on the last video, it'd be a stretch for me to talk about actual video games, huh? But specifically, I replayed Fallout 4 and tried out Hogwarts Legacy, and these games made me realize I despise the very concept of player freedom in video games today. Because these games for me shine infamously as to their watered-down, unimaginative, and bland guff we get when a dev puts player freedom on a pedestal above everything else. Those previously mentioned games are prime examples of how player freedom waters down a game. Firstly, Hogwarts Legacy is a technical marvel, when it works, of course, but its insistence on player freedom is its anchor that keeps it from truly thriving. The Unforgivable Curses, famous for being unforgivable in their nature, and even thinking about using them should make you feel ashamed and truly awful, and using them making you comparable to Voldemort in your depravity. But in Hogwarts Legacy? Nah, just throw them around, dude. Like, do it in front of teachers even. Who gives a honestly? I mean, what's so unforgivable about them anyway? The dev team, possibly with the surrounding controversies already swirling, may have taken some of the more evil elements out of the game. However, I truly think that this is the game they wanted. They weren't making a game that responded to you. They were making a theme park ride. You're never truly in danger, you're never truly judged for your actions in this world, and you can hit the souvenir shop on the way out of the ride. And in turn, you feel no even small effect on the world. And if your character was never a wizard, it would have meant nothing in terms of story and lore. Fallout 4, another case in point where player freedom gets in the way. It's a game which you can go anywhere, do anything.
This is an enormous dynamic world where you can create any kind of character you want, go where you want, and do whatever you want. Player freedom remains our absolute #1 goal.
We should really be afraid of that phrase more often. But Fallout 4 was one of the games built around that very phrase, and it suffered as a result. Bethesda immediately realized the problem they had created for themselves when the player can go anywhere, do anything.
Go where you want, and do whatever you want.
You can't craft a unique experience as you have no way of knowing what the player is going to do. So instead of a new quest line that can branch into different outcomes, characters, or what have you, instead, you go get Ting, bring back Ting.
Player freedom remains our
absolute #1 goal.
Instead of a satisfying experience, Fallout 4 was forced to deliver a bland, forgettable, and replaceable experience that you can find in hundreds of other games. But wait, this would all mean Hogwarts and Fallout 4 are limited. Yes, but in the worst way possible. They're wholly uninteresting, so both of these games fail to make you mean something in their story, or the world as a whole. Someone else could come along and have the exact same journey, and nothing sticks with you, nothing grabs you, nothing engages you. What about in the gameplay department? Again, neither of these games truly give you a satisfying experience overall. Fallout 4 has that same theme park ride feeling, just like Hogwarts does. I'm free to not be in danger and not be punished in any way. So why do I care? My newfound given freedom has got me nowhere, just bored. Hogwarts Legacy on its hardest difficulties is also, and most likely is, worse in this respect. The boss fights are laughable. The simplicity of the spells and their mechanics are repetitive and easy to figure out with no depth to them. It's easy to dodge or block attacks. Player freedom with no limits has made any unique gameplay elements that could exist impossible in these games. Total player freedom is a joke and should make you scared as to what exactly some games will become. Go ahead and prove me wrong, Starfield. Do it! Now, I think some can take the thoughts of the last part to mean I don't want more casual experiences in games, which is what I think Hogwarts and Fallout 4 are. Very casual experiences that are more accessible to more players, to which I say no. Just like in Mario Kart, I don't care that an assisted driving mode is in the game. I don't care if some games are more casual in nature. And if you enjoyed Hogwarts or Fallout 4, go do it, that's perfectly fine. I am only advocating for the return of some things that make a game interesting to me, that engage me. And if someone who enjoys these games, or the sound of these ideas coming out of my brain, then awesome. I want people to go back and see what works for them and what doesn't. However, those two same games use player freedom as a crutch to eliminate the actual work that goes into making a game that engages you on a story or a gameplay level. One that can immerse you in it rather than making you a passive observer with a rifle or a wand. But now the question, of course, is, what exactly does this look like? What is the fix? No, seriously, I am a genius. It's very easy to fix, and I'm about to blow someone's mind, whether they're a game dev or a casual games fan, as I think many are overthinking the process of making a game or what they even want in a game. In Hogwarts Legacy, I want to do duels, I want to do super deep combat systems, I want Quidditch and tournaments, I want secrets to find in Hogwarts. Also I need a ton of stuff outside of Hogwarts, and tons of secrets out there too. I want outposts I can beat dudes up. No! What if I told you you didn't need all that? That it's all worthless, uninteresting crap. Focus. This is what you must do when making a video game. You have to decide very quickly what your game will be, what it won't be. Do we want to engage our player through story and RPG choices, or do we want to engage them through the gameplay, the difficulty, and combat systems? Attempting to do a little bit of everything like Hogwarts and Fallout 4 is just not going to work. So we're going to pick what are we going to do and what we aren't going to do. Two games, of course, come to mind to represent the story and gameplay divide here, and we'll begin with story. Fallout New Vegas is an RPG made by Obsidian. Their design philosophy back in 2010 and today was the focus on RPG mechanics, heralding back to the old isometric days of Fallout. Obsidian did not have the resources nor time to truly flesh out this game, but this worked to their advantage. It tightened their focus, and I picture the conversation around how to make the game going a little something like this. What are we gonna do? We're gonna make the best RPG of all time? That's what we're doing? But for real, they focused on quest lines, main and side quests. The first quest in New Vegas is a fantastic example where you must pick the side of the innocent townspeople or a group of murderous escaped prisoners looking to take over the town. Your choice is limited here. Either pick a side or leave. picking either side branches into a myriad of effects on your character and getting new quests, information, and resources being open to you. However, you'll find that you'll be locked out of other options due to this choice. The player has been limited, but seeing your effect on the world and how you are truly living in a world that is going to react to you, it is satisfying. New Vegas's combat is garbage. It was based on an old engine that wasn't the best, and Fallout 4's combat is far superior. But it's still looked on with reverence by many due to the lasting impact it had. People remember tons of moments from New Vegas with giddy excitement, but not so much for our other games as much, I would argue. Again, if you like these games, then go love them. I don't hate you. Please, dear God, don't get mad at me. Now, let us engage on a gameplay level. Elden Ring was made by From Software and the legendary Miyazaki. Hallowed be his name. The same people who made Dark Souls. This was their first foray into a true open-world game. Firstly, the difficulty of the game makes seeing enemies on an open plain or in a ruin a scary prospect. This makes you think of how you want to handle any given situation. Do I even want to fight this group? Some of these enemies fight a bit differently. You're not simply mindlessly running down mobs of the same enemies, but even enemies you have seen before present a challenge even after some time. They are still able to beat you if you mess up, making the challenge ever present. Elden Ring also features tons of weapons with different unique attacks that can be improved by making choices via the leveling system. However, against certain bosses and enemies, your build won't be as effective. Yes, you can simply barrel through it, that will be harder, but it is your choice. Or you can go back and respec a bit and find a different strategy. Do you see what we're doing? We are making substantive choices based on the challenges presented to us. The player has been limited. You are not a god killer that can mow down like thousands with a wave of his hand like in Fallout 4 or Hogwarts. The game has engaged and immersed us in its combat, which ergo leads to a satisfying feeling when overcoming those challenges. Or, of course, breaking a controller or two.
I hate this keyboard. I hate this keyboard. I hate this keyboard. I hate this.
It's giddy excitement at a new challenge and loot that will have a substantive effect on your character alongside a unique experience. Because this dungeon is unique to every other dungeon you have gone into, presenting you with a fresh challenge. And that's it. Honestly, player freedom is fine, but limits are good. You just have to pick the right limits if you're making an open world game. Decide what it will be and what it won't be. How are you going to limit yourselves and the player? Hogwarts 4 and Fallout 4 use go anywhere, do anything
Enormous dynamic world.
as a get out of jail free card. They think having a giant world with mindless, no care or thought put into them, things to do, that this somehow gets them out of actually, engaging us, giving us something that was the focal point of the game. And again, if you like Hogwarts Legacy or Fallout 4, go for it. These games are just my good examples for this vid. Please don't take it as a personal attack. Even though by saying that, I know it's pointless, but I gotta try though. I think what I would want people to take away from this video is that player freedom is fine, but don't let a company sell you on it, because doing anything in their worlds is just getting to do busy work. Another Radiant quest that you'll forget the moment it's done. Elden Ring and New Vegas show that if you focus on a selling point and flesh it out, that you can make tons of money and make a creative and interesting project. But that requires time, patience, and care. Things of which the gaming industry is pretty light on these days. So, my children, come pray in the glorious light of the Church of the Limits of Latter-day Saints, ding. With me, together we can demand more interesting and satisfying games. Oh, and then the Mormon Church needs us to say some weird stuff about black people. Mormons are weird.